Hello friends, AmyR here with Prairie Paper and Ink. Couldn't resist trying to squeeze in some more Halloween cards, especially because as of me doing this voiceover and uploading this video, several of these items are on sale, and I had to use them, had to share, because they've been sitting here on my desk just waiting, you know, and I was like, it's a sign. So I started off with just some white cardstock. This is Simon's Smooth White Cardstock, doing a very simple blend in candy corn colors. It's like been brewing, like this entire card's been brewing in the back of my head for the last couple weeks. Anyway, so all I used was mustard seed and carved pumpkin distress inks with a blending brush. And I just kind of went back and forth blending these colors and then leaving white space at the top because candy corn, which funny enough, I love the look of candy corn. I love the colors, love it for, you know, Halloween. I don't actually like eating it. I'm not a fan, but anyway, I like candy corn themed things though. Like this card ended up being like just fun and the images are really cute, but I'll get to those in a minute. I did the background first though. So I have my blend. I added a bit of water splatter, you know, just cause it's distress. It always gives it that little extra something. And then I'm going to run this through my die cut machine with the Simon Says Stamps Cute Ghosts embossing folder. And I missed the back of the cardstock first, and then I put it in my embossing folder. And this just helps it emboss a little better without cracking the cardstock, because this is very heavyweight cardstock. And then my sandwich for running it through, I have a Spellbinders Platinum machine, is the platform, the embossing folder, and 2 metal shims. There are all sorts of different sandwich options that are listed with the products depending on the machine you have. And I also just recommend kind of fiddling and figuring it out. Like you don't have to have 2 metal shims. You can use like scrap cardstock, things like that. I just happen to have 2 and it works perfectly. So after I'd run that through and embossed it, I'm going to add a bit of splatter using black soot distress paint and my little fan brush. I don't want heavy splatter, so I'm not loading up the brush like I normally do with tons of paint, just light amounts, because I just wanted a light black splatter. You know, it just adds that little extra something. And then I always immediately wash out my brush, wash out my palette. Distress paint dries permanent. So yeah, wash those out, set them aside. And then for my main images, I'm using the Halloween Gnomies stamp set from Simon. This is also, this and the coordinating die set, again, as of me doing this voiceover, is on sale. I will have links. Highly recommend, because it's just a ridiculously good price. So I've had this set sitting here. This was released back, I think, in the beginning of September. It's so cute. I love gnomes, but this one is just something. And this one, of course, holding the candy corn was also kind of what inspired the whole thing. So I stamped him and one of the sentiments and then the individual candy corn onto more smooth white cardstock. I didn't bother stamping it perfectly because I'm going to stamp over it when I'm done. And then I did very simple Copic coloring because candy corn. So I just needed an orange combo, a yellow combo. I used some warm grays for his little beard, and then a couple of, you know, sort of tan sort of colors for his nose and hands. And I colored the wording in candy corn colors as well, because I was like, why not? Why not give them little stripes? Because it's just cute. So my typical darkest to lightest method of coloring, just because it's fast. This is edited in the video. It didn't, you know, I do not color this quickly, but it still didn't take that long because it's pretty simple, basic coloring. But yeah, this is way faster than it normally takes me. So did my oranges, did my yellows. The oranges are my go-to, just typical orange color combo. And then I just chose some kind of bright yellows, you know, that are candy corn inspired shades to do all the yellow little bits. And then I went back and forth a couple times with the letters, since I'm, you know, going directly like back and forth from the orange to the yellow. And then from the orange to the white, I'm going to use, like I have some cool grays, and I also am going to use my like 0 colorless blender just to smooth it out a little bit. So fixed my little oops on the beard that I got the orange on the beard. I just used more of those same warm gray markers, just kind of push the color back away from that. did my little bit of blending, added my cool grays to the white areas. Just, it's subtle, but it gives it that little something. And then I'm going to put this back into my Misty. I had left the stamps where they were. I didn't move them. And I'm going to, this time, ink them up with VersaFine Clair Nocturne ink and stamp it, which is, I haven't really done this. This is like, I think the second time in videos. I don't do this very often, but I love the look of it, but it's a little nerve-wracking because it's like, I just spent all this time coloring. What if I mess it up? But once you do it, you're good to go. And it does. It intensifies the lines, and I love it. My only thing is because I'm using the VersaFine Clair Nocturne, is it can smear until it's fully dry. So I did hit it with my heat tool, but I should have hit it a couple times because I did like have some black smears here and there, but I was able to like get away with everything. But yeah, stamped it with that and then pulled out my white Jelly Roll 10 pen. So my widest like width of Jelly Roll pens to add little highlights here and there to my gnome and to the candy corn. And then once I was happy with those little highlights, I'm going to use the coordinating wafer dies to die cut all of these images. So I'm going to tape the wafer dies in place so they don't shift when I run this through my die cut machine. And then once I've got all of these die cut off camera, I did end up stamping more of those little candy corn because I was like, I want more than 2 on the front. And then I was like, ooh, I can add a few to the inside because they go with the sentiment. So I just used that upper like extra white cardstock there and yeah, stamped them a few more times, colored them, restamped them, die cut them, etc. So once that was all done, I'm going to stamp the word happy right onto the background. I thought about just white heat embossing it on black cardstock, but decided there was enough space. I just picked kind of the flat area between the ghosts where it would stamp and then just carefully lined it up in my Misty and then stamped that directly onto the black background with that same Nocturne ink. And then while I had my Misty out, I have my card base lined up in there and the sentiment I wanted to use that's from that same Halloween Gnomies set. I'm going to ink that up with the Nocturne ink, stamp that onto the inside of the card, and then I'm going to adhere some of those extra little candy corns that I had colored and die cut and everything, and then reinforce my fold, straighten it out with my bone folder and my little score buddy there, and then I'm going to adhere my embossed card front. I had trimmed this down off camera with my guillotine trimmer to make it smaller than my A2 card, so the card base frames it a little bit, makes it look a little nicer. And then the Halloween sentiment I'm popping up with just thin 3D foam squares just to give it a little bit of dimension. So pop those onto the back of that, pop that into place, and then the little character and the candy corn I'm just going to adhere with craft tacky glue. So I've got a little bit of dimension, nothing too crazy. I didn't want to cover up too much of that because, you know, I've got the little embossed ghosts and the blending and the splatter and all that fun stuff. So I just adhered those kind of randomly here and there on the card front, set that aside to let the glue dry. And then I was originally just going to use either a yellow or an orange envelope, but then I was like, why not just use a white envelope and blend the same inks? So it's all matchy-matchy, plus it's just cute. So that's what I did. Just grabbed a white envelope from my stash and I blended the same mustard seed and carved pumpkin inks onto that with my blending brush just to, again, tie it in. Oh, and I could have splattered this too. I thought about it, but then I was like, that might like interfere with the mailing. It shouldn't, because I usually just use printout labels when I'm mailing cards. So you could totally add the black splatter and really tie it together, but I decided to just leave it because I just thought the blend was cute. So I just went back and forth with my blending brush between those two colors, and I just always use a lighter hand and I'm not picking up more ink, like for going from the orange to the white, so you get that, you know, bit of a smoother blend. And then that finished off the envelope, and then of course that finished off the card. So you can see the embossing of how those goes. They're so cute. These 3D embossing folders are just fun. So they're embossed and ink blended and splattered, and like I said, some of these items are on sale as of this video going live. So I'll have links, though, as always, to everything I used in the description box below the video. I will also have a link to my blog post. There's links to all my social media. All that info is always directly below the video, so you can check that out if you're interested. Thank you all so much for watching, subscribing, thumbs upping, commenting, all of it. I very much appreciate it, and I'll see you all very soon in the next video. Bye!